Welcome to Holistic Human Performance Podcast. My name is Gena Bradshaw, where we talk all things holistic health, wellness, spirituality, fitness, meditation, energetics, and so much more to help you become the healthiest version of yourself. Let's dive in. This is not medical advice. This is simply to help you on your journey through health, fitness, and wellness. I hope this helps. You can complement this with anything that you are doing currently in your life. Enjoy. It is finally here. After 2 years in the making, the HHP app is launched and ready to go. I am so excited. There's been so much blood, sweat, and tears put into this. I wanted to make this something where you can go to right at your fingertips to do wherever, whenever, to integrate a holistic health, wellness, energetic, and spiritual lifestyle. Whether it be on-demand videos, live stream classes, events. We have our community page for us to all interact with one another. We have the shop of holistic products. We have programs right at your fingertips. If you need one-on-one coaching or healings, right there as well. You can literally just click and set it up with yours truly. I'm also bringing on professionals from other industries to come in and speak to us about these certain things like astrology, human design, our functional integrative medical doctors, all different aspects of health, wellness, spirituality right at your fingertips. And you can do this wherever, whenever. I'm so excited for you to be a part of the community. I will see you inside. And guess what? You get a 5-day free trial. Try it out. See if you like it. Cancel whenever you want. I will leave the link in the show notes, and I will see you inside of the Holistic Human Performance app. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Holistic Human Performance Podcast. I'm your host, Gena Bradshaw Vitale, and we have our special guest with us who comes on every single month, Jake Santora, our astrologist, who just is. We had the best masterclass the other day, guys. Like, it was phenomenal. We went deep into the introduction of birth natal charts and how you can read into each of these houses. And we were just having a deep conversation before recording. So I'm so excited to get into it today. And we're going to chat about Aquarius season. This is a good, I'm really excited for this conversation. I love Aquarian energy.
Oh, thank you, Gena. No, I'm so excited. We always are blessed to do this. And funny enough, it's like, I don't know if our listeners are like 40-year-old virgin fans where, that end of the movie, he sings Aquarius. There's that funky song that he has where he resonates with. But the essence of that always comes to me when I think Aquarius. I sing it out kind of like they did in that movie. And really that image, if y'all have seen it or ever can go pull up that video, I love manifestations and visuality, but the connectivity to astrology is like, what does this painting look like, right? What does this vision of this sign look like? And at the end of that, when he's dancing around singing this song, it's about him being this individual. He's this individual energy that he's floating around, and all the people are dancing in their own way. And that's the energy of this series, of this season. Aquarius is the individuality, can show up as a rebel at times, which we'll get into. So you have all these different energies of coming off, but being just the individual and who you are, your highest self, is this beautiful seasonal attribute that we all can really hone in on. And it's just so fascinating. It's a very fascinating, powerful sign for sure.
And so Aquarian energy is very like innovative, and I don't know why I think of like modern when I think of like Aquarian energy, right?
Mm, mm. Modern, I would say now, right? Modern,
Yeah.
I think I think you're spot on there, because look at the innovation of where we are in society, right? So many apps. We're all in app form. We all have technology, chat GPT, right? So the innovation factor of Aquarius, you're spot on, because when we say modern, I think our modern is very different than what it was in the 1990s when we were kind of
Yeah.
born and coming up. And when I think innovative as well, look at these skyscrapers we have in these major cities. Those that are sports fans that might be listening, right? Look at these stadiums that you have come across now and how they've shifted. You know, the Minnesota Vikings as a football team has this, I would say their stadium is so innovative, but the essence of our modern society right now, I would definitely correlate to the innovation we're seeing. Also going into the Aquarius of entrepreneurship, right? Going to that individuality, but entrepreneurship could be another great correlation of Aquarius. And many of us want to be entrepreneurs. Many of us strive for that entrepreneur feeling in our roles and our jobs, even. So I think it's a beautiful saying as well. And I'll even wrap in that we're entering kind of the age of Aquarius. So there's these long stints of time that go a little bit deeper of these ages, and we are entering kind of this Aquarian age, which is beautiful because we've seen the shifts in our technology and the innovation. But I would also love Aquarius because at the same time, it is one of the more powerful signs of astrology. So a lot of
Mm.
Aquarians are very in tune with astrology. It's kind of one of those signs that just can read this narrative and approach, and it's gives a great beauty to it. And I think that goes back to the individuality too. Your map, your your road of your soul's journey, as we put it in our master class, and things that we always talk about. It's who are you as an individual, and it's all these planets, it's all these signs, but the individuality of Aquarius in your personal natal chart, or especially where you want to show up in this time frame of the season, just really thinking about the self in totality is going to be so beneficial.
Okay, so thinking of the self and kind of like where you're headed, where you're going, who are you as an individual, individuality. Okay. I like that. I could vibe with that.
Well, now think too, right? I think what I love when we do these, we always can see these unique celebrations that come in the seasons. So this was a little, I think more Venus energy at times when you think
Mm,
about love and all these things of Valentine's Day, but
yeah.
it's an Aquarius season. So I really sat with that and was like, that's interesting because individuality of how you're showing up for someone, how you're showing up
Mm,
for yourself is something that we always focus on. Of you can't show up for yourself and the self love, it's hard to show up for somebody else. But who am I really? And I think the Valentine's Day experience, everyone celebrates it differently. Some people that have partners, some people that are single, some people that don't want to celebrate it, right? It's your own vibe because it's not this holiday like Christmas or Halloween that correlate very significantly to like, no, this day is celebrated by everybody,
mm,
majority. I think this day is a little bit different because if you're single, maybe it's, definitely sitting with yourself, looking in the mirror and sitting in with those. But I love this ability of that celebration to come back to the Aquarius season of the individual for yourself, the self love part to it. Um, is just going to be so powerful. So, how you want to celebrate Valentine's Day could be a great example, not so much of love and intimacy there, but just think about who you are of the self love and how you're showing up for other people to go to the purest sense of your own individual depth is a great way to maybe manifest or explore this season.
Self-love is literally the one aspect that creates wholeness in your body and brings you back to health. And a lot of people neglect that. And they'll, for example, because I see this all the time when, a client comes to me and let's just say they're complaining about being overweight. Or they are struggling with the health adversity. And then I kind of will ask questions about how they view themselves. And we'll do, I'll incorporate like mirror work,
Mhm.
and a lot of people struggle with that. Like a lot of people struggle with that. And so if you're someone that, especially during this time frame, and this is what I'm intuitively getting, if you're someone during this time frame that really has a lot of like self-hatred, that is the number one thing you want to work on first, because then everything else will fall into place
Mm.
in your life. Especially if you're someone who's struggling, you're like, why can't I find a partner? And why can't, if you don't love yourself, how is somebody else going to love you? That's not going to fill the void. So you have to really do some deep inner work around this time. Especially because I know a lot of people are like, ugh, Valentine's Day, like they'll hate it or whatever. I don't really have any, just kind of like a for me. Like I never thought anything really of it. I'm like, oh, fun, like flowers, yay. But thinking of how you can really like, what are some ways to help you tap into more self-love? Like, what are those things that help you appreciate and love yourself more? What are some activities? Maybe you do some mirror work. Maybe you do some journaling, maybe you do some shadow work, which obviously is not comfortable, but like if you want to expand, you want to grow, obviously you can't stay in your comfort zone. So,
Mm, I love that, Jenna. No, it's beautiful, and I think twofold to it, right? It's like I think the question of the season that we can
yeah.
bring to everybody is going to be, when is the last time you looked in the mirror? And I mean the physical form, the physical dimension here. When's the last time you've looked in the mirror? And just think through that, especially when you go to the bathroom, right? You do have that mirror in front of you. Maybe some people have a full mirror in there, right? Everyone's going to be different, but just even sitting with that, when is the last time you looked in the mirror? Because there are times I think a lot of us can live more in shame, more in this negative frequency at times, unless we're willing to do the work to look in the mirror and know that there is no good or bad. But Aquarius is, who the hell am I? And be okay with all that. Shut out all the noise externally, shut it all down, sit with yourself and ask yourself, when's the last time you looked in the mirror? And then look in the mirror and let everything come up. There's no labelization of good or bad in anything of, ooh, I got a pimple. I had one, I popped it and moved on. Like, it's okay. Like, there are some things, but I'm down to look in the mirror to see some of those wounds because I want to know who I am. And there's a reason we all came here. We came here to evolve. And that's really the essence of astrology that we love to preach, is that there are just these natural urges, thoughts, and feelings that we all experience, but we're going to experience differently based on where these planets and these signs are in our chart. And the manifestation of our experiences allow these planets to vibrate and have their individuality in totality. But Aquarius is going to be a very significant part when you look at yourself in the mirror to find the correlation of who you are as an individual. And so that'll be our seasonal question of, when's the last time you looked in the mirror, and then really look in the mirror and absorb all those energies that are coming to you, maybe for 3 to 5 minutes. Again, like Jenna said, it's not fun, but man, when there's work, there's a reward at the end. There's a reward, just like a team winning the Super Bowl. You put in the journey, you put in the weeks, you put in the time, and you work at it, you work it yourself, and it's just a beautiful reward that you'll be able to obtain.
There's a really good trick that you could also do where like in the morning and before bed you're brushing your teeth. Brush with the non-dominant hand and then look at yourself in the mirror and just
Interesting.
say I love you 10 times because it starts to like unwire and rewire new neural connections so that you become just more comfortable and more adaptable to saying these
Mm.
things to yourself. So that's also a really great way to develop new like neural connections and not be so like resistant to looking at yourself in the mirror and saying those things.
I love that. I love that. And it goes with the energy too, So we always talk with the seasonality of the sign, right? So for those that maybe are just joining, just a reminder that right now when we talk seasonalities, you can just look up in the sky and the sun right now is sitting in the constellation of the stars of Aquarius. So those are the energy. And as the sun moves, we'll go to a new season and we'll continue on and so forth. But I love talking the planetary rulers as well, because that'll come back to your personal natal chart. So the ruler of Aquarius is Uranus. So Uranus has the similar traits that we just pointed to, but it's this very colder planet. But one of the bigger emphases of Uranus that can correlate, especially with it being the planet of the season, really, it's about surprises. So it is a surprise planet. And the twofold to there is everything you just said. Be surprised by yourself. Be surprised at what comes up, or these different things, or the new affirmations that you can do this is a big thing. But it does also go into, where are you at in life? There's a lot of different ages that we work with. There's a lot of different genders we work with, right? And one thing we preached in the master class that we did to a degree, but also always here in the work we do is what environment are you putting yourself in? And that's going to be such a pivotal part to how you can notice triggers, how you can evolve and reframe or harmonize yourself based on where you're going to put yourself. And when it comes to the environments with Uranus, a lot of us growing up didn't get to choose. We didn't get to choose where we lived. We didn't get to choose the design of our house, all these things that can be now, if you're older, you get to make choices upon. But I mention this because when you're doing the work and some of the advice that Jenna's mentioning too, this is a hard work to be done, especially to unthaw this planetary energy because of the neurological patterns that were set in of you were told probably for 20, 21 years, everyone grows up differently by your parents, by your school, by your coaches, who you were. It really wasn't until we got to the real world, maybe college, where you can maybe start to find your individuality. But again, that's something that when we speaking on this season, it's gonna be a challenge to figure out who you are and shock yourself if you notice something that comes to you that is vastly different than you've ever been, because some of those patterns are super, super deep for the purpose and value of where your environment has been.
Mm. Okay, so I love that. And I think that as we also head into, like, we're in Aquarian season, and as we, go deeper into the season, I know that there's triggers that will come up, especially during this time. I know I'm feeling it, at least. And I've been reading up a little bit on just like the energy of this season, where, especially as we film this, we're in February. There are a lot of triggers that can come up during this time frame. Kind of just honor that and like go deeper into it. It's like, what was the trigger? What is making me uncomfortable about it? What reaction or what like physiological reaction are you getting in the body? Are you overthinking? Are you getting like tightness in your chest? Is your lower back hurting you? And start to really kind of like pinpoint, like, all right, I've been holding on to this for a really long time. How can I let this go? How can I let this go to start to become this new version of myself that's more independent, that can think on my own, that can make decisions on my own? Not to say that you completely will know where you're headed and what you want, but you have like more of a clear vision of where you're going, and becoming like the innovator of your life, I guess.
Love that. Love that. And I'll even just point out a beautiful manifestation that I think naturally happened and for to send people for that support too is you launched your mobile app. So
Yeah.
this launching this app, when we go back to your individuality, your entrepreneurship, but then innovation. Oh, you just took three pillars of the seasonal, traits into this one beautiful app that you were working very hard on to build. And it just so happened it blossomed and launched in Aquarius season. And it has that energy around it. You have so many resources in there for the work to support people through it, because we're very honest and open that in the work that we're preaching, it's hard work. It's not easy, but promise it is so rewarding. So just want to point out there is this beautiful, innovative entrepreneur mobile application which goes aligned with the technology, the modern side of things that we have with all of those resources you're putting in there. So I'm in that app, just opening it up and seeing what's available. It's going to be so beneficial for this time of season, and it just aligns beautifully with what we've been talking about.
Yeah, and I did not plan that out at all. It just so happened to launch because I don't have control over that. I didn't have control over, the tech aspect of when the engineers were going to be done with this app. So it just so happened to be launching in Aquarius season. And you obviously pointed that out, and I'm like, oh wow, that's so cool. That's like that's literally the time of innovation and entrepreneurship. So I'm really, again, just when you know these things and you lean into it, you can kind of loosely plan when to launch certain things, when to do certain things, when to do certain inner work, and when to go more in depth, like into your inner world, when to be more social. Like there's so many things that you can loosely kind of like plan that will naturally expand the energy of your intention, which is really, really cool. And yeah, you can find all of that inside the Holistic Human Performance app. We have Jake inside of there. Of course, we had such a like such an amazing masterclass. It was the Cosmic Roadmap Masterclass. You can find that right inside the library section. And it goes deep into learning about each of these houses, 1 through 12, and how you can apply it to your birth natal charts. And you'll see those who joined us live examples of how it's done. And it's so cool. I literally, all of those students after hit me up and they were like, oh my gosh, this was spot on. Like, I'm freaked out how spot on this was. I need to go further. And just like that, just that introduction alone, it will just open up a whole different, I guess, avenue. Like quantum leaping, it'll open up a whole new pathway for you that you're like, it just expands you and you can be more open-minded as to where your life is headed, where you're going. Yeah, and you can it's just so cool to see.
That's the power of astrology. That class was so much fun, and we want to keep doing these things because that's all we're here to do, right? It's like I was so blessed, a year and a half, 2 years ago that found my mentor and they gave me my map. Like that forever has changed my life, as I had no idea through all the meditation, visualization, all these practices over 10 years that it was working. Like I
Yeah.
know you said you didn't control when this app launched, but that's the beautiful thing too is like a lot of people and a lot of us that are doing it's manifesting, aligning with the universe, and it's naturally happening. But and once you have your map, there are some missing pieces, but it's really having your map to everything you just said. All we're trying to do is I want to bring consciousness to the world. I want everyone to operate in their conscious mind. You can't do that if you didn't have a playbook. But man, if you have a playbook, alignment to the soul, down to do the work. And then when you're conscious, you're making your right intentions about your own evolutionary journey. And my true belief is the world can revolutionize and change into such a harmonious place when we're all honoring our intention, honoring our journey. But it does take that work of unthawing it out. But being conscious with intent, the power of attraction, the power of the law of physics in this universe, it's endless opportunity for you because you're just going to find so much more comfort where there is no good or bad. There's not good or bad happening. It's just that makes sense. That makes sense. No matter what it is, that makes sense to my journey to the universal time period. And it's a beautiful way to live, a beautiful game to play when you have your map and you're calling the plays and it just aligns beautifully. So that's why we love preaching. That's why we love doing the seasons, doing our classes, and highly recommend people to watch the replay, reach out to us for any questions or anything that we can help support. Because that's the thing for me of yes, I'm blessed to keep learning how to read these, and I'm blessed with the education that I can read these signs. And it's just more questions, gang. It's not like it manifests this way or good or bad in the astrology teach. It's just
Yeah.
we're going to ask you a question and I'm be like, this is the vision I get from it. Like, how does that feel to you? And it usually feels really good, even if it's taboo or different. It's just like, no, the energy is within you. I can just see it and start to make the correlations. And that's probably very comforting when someone else can tell you to your mirror effect that you just pointed out to, Jenna, when we were talking, like the mirror is there. It's okay. So the comfort even we can give in an hour session is pretty powerful when you start to hear these things and honor these things for sure.
Great way to end it. Yes. So Aquarian season, let's get it. Like, let's tap into our innovation. Let's tap into just our self individuality, finding who you are and how you can add value into this world because it makes a difference. And again, you can find Jake, go get your birth natal chart reading. It is unbelievable. It is absolutely a game changer and it will totally change your life and how you view where you're headed. And again, you can go right inside the app. You can even check him out inside of the Metaphysics Your Health course. That's under programs in the app. or one of our classes, Cosmic Roadmap Masterclass, which is under the masterclasses in the library section. And you get a 5-day free trial. So go check it out, see if you like it, cancel whenever you want. And we will see you soon. Thank you all for joining. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.